Hey, Curtis,
Hey Oz,
what movie you got to wrap up the year?
to wrap up the year of our Lord 2023,
Our Lord Jason Statham.
our Lord Jason Statham. Praise be to JS.
Yeah.
Our movie marriage this week, Oz, we've got Excess Baggage, courtesy of Patreon user Melissa. Excess Baggage meets Crank, plus a whole lot of the rules of engagement.
Yeah. What
all
rules?
all put together with a DHL commercial. This week we're watching The Transporter.
This movie does have as many rules as Gremlins.
It does, yeah. Yep, there are clear defined
Yeah,
rules.
yeah.
This is how you do things. This is not how you do things.
The only thing that separates this from, say, like Zombieland is that they're not on screen.
Exactly. It's not foop. Cardio. Foop. Double tap. Foop. Don't open the package.
Never change the deal.
This was a fun movie. Oz.
It really was.
Yeah.
It was. It very much was. Welcome back to Let's Talk About Flicks, that weekly podcast where we take a monthly theme. This month being by the numbers action films, and we satisfy it with a movie. This one being the final of the month, so
yes.
we will be announcing the first theme of the new year at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So. I'm one of your hosts, Oz.
I am the other host, Curtis.
And before we get rolling too far, we definitely want to give a shout out to Patreon subscribers, Don S., Aaron A., Mandy K., Melissa L. Thank you for your patronage.
Yes, and happy holidays.
And happy holidays.
Happy holidays at the time of this recording. Yeah. We're just days before Christmas and 2023. So happy holidays, Patreons. Happy holidays, world.
Happy holidays.
Planet Earth.
It was, what was it? It was Spinal Tap. That, we've toured the world and beyond.
We toured the world and elsewhere.
So, your movie. So I've got the cast this week.
Yeah.
We're looking at 5. I'm going to name 5.
Yes, I know. In Wikipedia, they only had 5 people listed,
and that's
there.
About it, because everyone else was like Henchman 3.
Yeah, and even that 5 is pushing it too.
yeah. I'm even looking at the last one. I'm like, who's the 5th one? But now I know who it is. So we have it's a transporter. So it's young Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Really, movie 21 years old at the time of recording. Jason Statham playing American Frank Martin. Despite not even close to sounding American.
Yeah.
Shu Qi playing Lai Kwai. His excess baggage.
Yep.
Francois Berliand as Inspector Tarconi. Not to be confused with Marconi.
No.
Of The Dark Knight.
Yep.
Matt Schultz as Darren Wall Street Betancourt.
Wall Street.
Arguably one of the most boring villains we've seen on the show. I just found it. I mean, I don't know. I looked at him. I'm like, yeah, you're not going to beat Jason Statham.
No, but he gave him a run for his money in a couple spots.
A couple spots, yeah. And then Rick Young playing Mr. Kwai. Don't be confused. The name Rick Young it's not as vanilla sounding of a character as one. Like, oh, Rick Young is playing Mr. Kwai. Is this whitewashing an Asian actor? No, it's not. It's just an Asian actor with an American sounding name. So that's it, pretty much. Like, and there's like I mentioned, there's a bunch of Fighter 1, Henchman 2.
A whole lot of those guys.
A lot of guys. Because Jason Statham can't just beat up Matt Schultz.
No.
There's got to be a lot of fighting going on. It was fun. This movie, I don't think I get to it in my 3-2-1s. No, I don't. It doesn't surprise me one bit that Luc Besson was involved in this movie.
Yes. Yeah, it's a very Luc Besson feel.
And I don't know what it is. Like, I've seen a number of Luc Besson films, and they all feel, even though he was just the writer and producer on this, they all feel like they're filmed through the same type of like camera and lens. I don't get like Netflix shows have that same kind of vibe. you know, not of the same as Besson, but just like you could tell when you're watching a Netflix show. You could tell when you're watching a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
You could tell when you're watching like
they're all framed in a certain way.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know, there's just the quality of the film stock. I don't know what it is, but you just when you're watching it, you're like, "Yep, this is how it feels." Like,
well, like Chris Nolan films all kind of feel the same too.
Well, because he shoots the entire thing on an IMAX camera, including the opening credits.
Yeah, it's just construction paper with
that's all
and glue sticks.
he has the IMAX camera focused on the computer screen as he's just scrolling through the digital titles.
You can see his open tabs at the top.
Exactly. It's just a screen recorder.
He was just looking at the Clippers box score.
Here's dog barking in the background. So, but that's it. Just those 5 are pretty much the cast members of the movie. It is your plot, my friend.
Yeah.
So take it away.
Yes. The plot of this movie, I mean, I could probably run through this in 2 minutes or so. Because there's not a whole lot of plot.
No.
But there's a lot of just fun stuff that happens in this movie. So we'll focus more on the stuff than actually the plot. So we open on Frank, again, American Frank.
Right.
Sitting in a BMW at a parking garage in Monaco. His watch alarm goes off. He puts on some black leather driving gloves, punches numbers into a fancy thingy to start his car, and then we see him off. I did notice right away that as he leaves this parking garage, they cut to an unnecessary shot of him driving the speed limit and changing lanes using his blinker. Like that was there for a reason. Like, okay, he's a very calling our monthly theme literal here. He's a very by the numbers character.
Yes, and he's a rule follower.
Thus, the rules of engagement in the movie Marriage.
Yeah, like he's only going to break them when he has to.
Yes. So he just sort of casually pulls up to a bank. And moments later, 4 guys in ski masks just run out of this bank. They throw the money in the trunk, and they all jump in the car, and then nothing happens.
Yeah. Nope.
Nothing happens. He just sits there, and the guy in the passenger seat's like, they're all just screaming at him, like, "Go, drive!" Nope. Deal was for 3 guys, not 4. Given the weight distribution of 3 versus 4, blah 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 blah. He never changed the deal. One of the thief holds a gun to his head, and he just refuses to drive. The extra weight's going to slow us down. Yeah. You're going to get caught.
And he's like, you can't drive my car. You don't know the sequence. You know, it's like Mad Max Fury Road. Like, no one drives his rig but me.
He gets that gigantic like plumber's wrench out to be the steering wheel.
It's Frank Furiosa driving this car.
Frank Furiosa. So eventually the lead guy turns and he shoots one of his like thief mates in the back, and they throw him out of the car. And then Frank drives.
I'm glad it was him, because like Frank looks at him, he's like, "No, that guy he didn't weigh enough. He's too light. We're still over the weight."
And you shoot the portly guy in the back.
You shot the wrong guy. Sorry.
And keep going. Frank was body shaming them that bad.
Right, the whole time. Yeah. Fat guy back there weighs too much. You gotta get rid of it.
So then they drive off. Frank insists that they all buckle their seatbelts. He calmly drives away as the bad guys are panicking because, the law enforcement is closing in around them. He does have his very cool car. Again, it has that button sequence.
Yeah.
To start the car, and then it also he has this like a motorized thing that like flips the license plate around.
Yeah, it's like rotating license plates so that he can't be apprehended.
Yeah. So they're driving all over Monaco, trying to lose the cops. At one point, they get pinned in, and he jumps the car off a bridge onto an empty spot of one of those like car transport trailers.
Yeah.
And it's just a fun sequence.
That's what the movie was named after, was that truck.
Car transporter. Luc Besson.
Luc Besson's on like page 5 of the script, and he's like, I know what it's called now.
Car trailer.
The original title was Frankie Goes to Monaco. But...
Relax, talk to it. He pulls over at one point so one of the bad guys could puke out the window because he just had the the leather condition back there. So,
despite the fact that there's blood and brains all over it.
Yeah.
Because the previous guy just got busted.
Well, I mean, he did have his mask on, so I don't know how much. How much
caught a lot of it. Yeah.
Although we do see Frank cleaning it later, but they eventually get away from law enforcement, and the lead thief offers Frank more money to take them further, but that's not the deal. It turns out a few minutes later, we see that these guys, like their second driver, they did end up getting caught.
Yeah.
Should have stuck with Frank the whole time. Should have made the deal in the first place.
What would have been the excuse? Because the second driver was clearly right there in the car when they're like, "Take us further." Like, you guys have an Uber right there. like you're set for a ride. But yeah, these guys were idiots from the start.
So that's our opening sequence.
It was fun.
Yeah, it introduces us to Frank and introduces us to his rules.
Yeah,
how regimented he is with things,
and they do it in a way that like there's no voiceover. There's no like history of like what
No.
It's just like, hey,
now you
show
learn
us little things,
just enough.
Yeah.
Again, you don't need to know this character's deep, rich backstory.
No, you don't.
So
he was like a hall monitor in third grade, like, no.
Until he narked on the wrong kid.
That's right.
At home, he's cleaning the car very well, very delicately. He has a whole cabinet full of license plates. Again, this is where he's watching the news and he finds out that those bad guys got caught because their new driver crashed driving the wrong way down a one-way. Inspector Tarconi then drops by. Says someone with a car that looks like yours was involved in a robbery. They exchange from some kind of like witty banter. He definitely suspects things, but again, he has no evidence.
Yeah.
So he can't do anything. He just notes how neat and orderly Frank is, even at his home. We also learn that Frank is ex-military.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really matter, but it kind of explains
at all, really.
I guess sort of explains his his proficiency with like weapons and stuff, but like,
Yeah. It doesn't really matter.
He then gets after Tarconi leaves. He then gets a call for a transporter.
Oh.
He meets a client at the bar and he takes the job. We then learn his rules. We already learned rule number 1.
Yeah.
Once the deal is made, it cannot be renegotiated.
Yeah, never change the deal.
Never change the deal. Rule number 2, no names.
That's right.
No names.
Everybody wants to tell him who they're working with.
Yeah.
And that's like, this is the rule that pops up more than I think any of them. Because every time he's talking to somebody, they're like, well, you're looking for no names. I'm like, well, then how are you supposed to know what you're looking for, Frank?
I was waiting for him to like take his index finger, just put it right up to somebody's lips.
Pinch them together.
Yeah.
But I was wondering that too, when they're like, you're going to drive to this house, be there at this time, and you're looking for no names.
No names.
Again, like, then how are you going to know you're talking to the right person? Pull up and Raoul's trimming the hedges and you're like, here's your package.
It's right there on the mailbox. I can clearly see the last name. I said no names.
He closes his eyes if he sees any kind of any kind of text anywhere.
It might be somebody's name.
I don't want to know.
Nope, don't want to know. Can't know. That's rule 2. It's clearly Blake breaking the rules. That's not how I do things.
He's never told Inspector Tarconi his name.
Nope. How are you, Frank? I don't know any Frank.
I don't know.
I don't know any Frank.
I'm not Frank.
You're Frank. He just doesn't recognize names.
No.
They're not nouns. It's just gibberish to him.
Yeah, I don't get it.
he only deals in places and things.
That's right. And ideas.
Yes, and ideas. Yes. Yeah. No people. No persons.
75% of all nouns he's fine with.
But not when you get persons. Grammar joke.
I only speak to pronouns.
So he gets on the road with this new deal. He gets a flat tire, opens the trunk to get the spare, and the bag that he was given is moving.
That's right. It's a bunch of rabid weasels.
So he pushes the bag aside to get the spare, changes it, keeps driving. Later, he kind of gets curious, opens the trunk.
It talks to himself a lot.
Yes. Yeah, he does. It's like, don't open the bag, Frank.
Right. He keeps reminding himself of his own rules.
Yeah, no good to break the rules, Frank.
I'm going to do it anyway.
it's like Smeagol and Gollum talking back and forth.
Right. We just get the same pivoting head.
You don't have any friends, Frank. So he gets curious. He opens the trunk. It's a woman in a bag.
It's a beautiful woman.
Yes, of course. It's a beautiful woman. Live.
It's not like Large Marge is in the bag.
With the big bug eyes.
You got her mid-bug eyes. I think you're thinking Kingpin with that one.
Yeah.
Jarts loose there, Tiger.
Yeah, you beat me to it. What is it about good that makes you want to take a crap? So he cuts a small hole in the tape, gives her something to drink with a straw. She says she has to pee. She asks if would you rather me do it in the car? And of course, neat freak Frank, he's not going to let her pee in the car. So he ties a rope around her, tells her
an extremely long rope around her.
Yes, he had like a 300-foot length of rope in the car.
It's like 18 lassos worth of rope,
all tied together.
Yeah, exactly.
So of course she escapes. He ends up chasing her down and finds her. And the whole time he's like, "Rule 3: never look in the package."
He's like yelling it.
Yeah. Rule 3:
warriors.
Never look in the package.
He's like taunting her as she's running through the countryside.
So he throws her in like a fireman's carry. And it brings her back to the car. And of course, there's 2 cops there. So he has to dispatch them, puts them in the trunk. See what happens when you break the rules, as he keeps talking to himself. He pulls up to the delivery site. Of course, we see the cops are in the trunk.
Yeah.
Along with Lai. He delivers the girl to Darren Wall Street Betancourt, who just talks about how much I like him. About Frank. I like him.
He's my friend.
He then takes Frank then accepts another deal from Wall Street to deliver a small briefcase. We cut to Frank at like a little shop. He had stopped for like a sandwich, grabbed a couple, stops at a pop machine to grab a couple sodas for the cops in the trunk. So apparently they're still alive.
Yeah.
And then his car explodes just out of nowhere.
Yeah. Right.
Kind of a cool sequence. I didn't see that coming.
Oh, I didn't either. Frank gets really irritated because he just wasted money on those colas.
Yeah. That was 20 quid.
God, the cops don't even need it now. He slams him down.
I don't even like Fanta. We immediately cut to him breaking into Wall Street's place. We got a really fun shot of like there's like a knock at the door or something, and then one of the guards comes up and looks through the peephole, and you see his like first person like the peepholes for like POV of Frank running at the door and like drop kicking it. Then we get a big fight there. He takes out several guards. There's a sweet fight scene with like guys with axes coming at him.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
He grabs like a sconce and fights them off. And then he does the patented Jason Statham, like that, like split-legged like kick that he does.
Yep.
Not like a Van Damme where it's like splits, but it's like a kick to the sides. Yeah.
He's kicking 2 guys at once.
Yeah.
That are both positioned exactly where
their marks told them to be.
Exactly.
He steals Wall Street's Mercedes. Of course, Lai had escaped and ends up in the car with him.
Yeah.
He almost leaves her, ends up coming back. He ends up taking her home, gets her name, cuts her bindings, and I'm going to bed. You can stay, you can go. She ends up staying. goes through his stuff, finds his dog tags, military stuff. Again, just enough.
Yeah, right.
To let you know, like, yes, like there was a person before he became the transporter. And she ends up falling asleep on the couch. Frank wakes up the next morning. Lai has picked flowers. She's made him coffee. She's made him pastries. So she's really kind of taken with him, Oz.
And Frank's a late sleeper, apparently.
Yeah. Tarconi comes by. Lies, says she's the new cook.
Yeah.
Tarconi says, I found your license plate, in your exploded car. And there was also 2 dead cops that were in the trunk. I'll see you in my office later today.
Right.
After Tarconi leaves, and I don't know how long after he leaves, Frank notices that it's too quiet as a rocket hits his roof.
Exactly. He went full John Matrix here.
He did, yes.
Like, I smell something coming. I smell rocket. This bit here, like, it was fun. It didn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it was a little excessive.
Like things are too quiet. What do you mean things are too quiet? Like, this is a stealthy rocket coming. It's not like the crickets and squirrels and birds.
I'll stop chirping.
Yeah, it's not like they got a heads up and left the area. But I mean, it was, don't get me wrong, a fun sequence, but it's like, things are a bit too quiet. Like, no, they're not. They're normally quiet.
It's just normal level of, so they keep shooting rockets into his home. They're just tearing the place up with like automatic rifle. Everything's flying right through the plaster walls.
And like you mentioned, we don't know how long after Tarconi left. I got the vibe that it wasn't long.
Yeah, it seems like he pulled away, and then like 30 seconds later, his house is on fire.
Like, almost, there's no way he wouldn't have heard this rocket explode.
Well, it wasn't quite in Tarconi's car.
That's true. He's a big Megadeth fan.
He's listening to the new Moby album.
Exactly. Moby.
I can see Tarconi being a big Moby fan.
Yeah, me too.
Again, this is early 2000s. That was like peak Moby right there.
Robbie Williams.
Yes, Robbie Williams. Maybe some Fatboy Slim.
Probably.
Yeah.
Whoever's big across the pond.
He had Praise You blasted at full volume.
Scratching out on a steering wheel.
It didn't see anything, didn't hear anything.
No.
Didn't look in his mirrors or anything.
He's not. His life lives forward. He doesn't use his mirrors.
I don't look backwards.
I don't look back.
Past is the past. You leave it behind.
That's right. Today's a gift because it's the present.
It's like one of those inspirational posters.
Yeah.
He just has it in his windshield.
Yeah, it's like hang in there, cat on a branch.
He had, instead of a rear view mirror, he has just a little mini version of that poster that just dangles. So they eventually end up underwater as his house blows up. And they come up like in a neighbor's like indoor like harbor or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I know.
They swim inside the neighbor's house is the point.
Yes. Yep.
And we're being very literal by that. They swim to the inside of the neighbor's house. We get a classic action hero shirtless scene. I put "wowza" in all caps, and
it's not lie. It's Jason.
Oh, it's Jason Statham. Yeah, it's not lie. He keeps chiding himself for opening the package, breaking the rules. This is what you get. He's very hard on himself, Oz.
Yeah, well, he's a rule breaker. Like, I don't know why. Like, I mean, obviously for the plot of this movie, it's important, but I get the vibe that this is the first time he's broken his own rules, and now look what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, good thing they have a chance with 2 more Transporter movies.
A lot of negative self-talk. You should probably
cheer up.
Get some help for that.
That's right.
She then goes after him. He hesitates for a moment, and then
why not?
and then some other goods are transported.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to them in Tarconi's office that afternoon. Of course, they're still wet. They said they went for a swim and then came back to his house on fire with bullet shells everywhere.
But yeah, we have clothes.
Yes.
That part I didn't understand much either. Like,
yeah,
where'd you get your outfit? Because what you swam in is not what you're wearing, and your house is destroyed.
Thank God they didn't hit the closet.
I left my armoire untouched.
It's the walk-in with steel reinforced walls.
Thankfully, I've got a vast array of women's clothing too.
Yeah. So, Frank lies, says he doesn't know who wants him dead. Tarconi has to step out for something. Lie then demonstrates her computer hacking skills.
Of course, she's got bow staff skills, computer hacking skills. Nunchucks.
And she finds out more info about Wall Street. Tarconi, as they leave, Tarconi gives them money from his own wallet for food. Because
you could tell Tarconi does like Frank.
Yes. He's got a thing for Frank. Lie wants to go after Wall Street, and Frank says, like, we're alive. We need to just get out of here and start over.
And he thinks we're dead.
Yes.
Like,
So Frank walks away. A teary Lie tells Frank that her father and sisters are among 400 people being human trafficked inside of a giant steel shipping container. And they'll be forced into slavery, and only Wall Street knows the shipping container number. So here's our plot twist, Oz. Like, ooh, the stakes just went up.
Yeah, she wants him to open another package. He's
You've heard me talk to myself, right?
Right.
He calls her out for lying to him. She says that the moment we shared earlier, the neighbor's house was not a lie.
Yeah. Oh, you... Ooh. And he's like, yeah, I know, I was there. I know you told me to close my eyes, but I didn't.
He was afraid he'd see some text someplace. She has a tattoo of someone's name on her. Like, that's grandma's name.
I like back at the house, that wasn't a lie. Like, there's certain things that I know, like, are stereotypical that can be faked in moments like that, but I don't think the entire thing could be faked. Like, people that are like, professional wrestling's fake. Those guys really are throwing each other around.
Yeah.
Like, and the same here. Like, that wasn't a lie. Well, yeah, obviously, because I was part of it. Like, but no, I get where she's going from, but I got a little literal there, and I'm like, yeah, you can't completely fake that.
Yeah. Wall Street walks into an office, just some office building, and Lie and Frank are there waiting for him. Frank quickly disarms him. Wall Street refuses to give the shipping container number. Gets a call from Lie's father that he's on his way up. So wait a second. I thought she said that Dad was in the container. Lie then turns the gun on Frank because, like, he's like, what? He's calling her on the lie. Her father, Mr. Qi, then walks in. She turns the gun on him. And he just says, I'm never going to change. You're too naive. And he tells his goons to kill Frank. But right then and there, of course, Wall Street gets a call that the actual cops are coming up. So the Tarconi enters. Frank has been knocked out at this point, so he's literally unconscious on the floor as Tarconi walks in. Wall Street tells him that Frank kidnapped Lie and used her as blackmail, but fortunately my security team got the drop on Frank and knocked him out. They're going to press charges. Tarconi takes Frank, but he's clearly suspicious of Wall Street and Quiet.
Yes, very much so.
So Frank comes to in a police holding cell. Tarconi's there. They talk, and Frank tells him, like, there's people being human trafficked, and Tarconi's like, I'll start an investigation, but, like, I can't do anything about it,
Right.
And so Tarconi ends up helping Frank escape.
Yeah, like, leaves the cell door open, and like, he's almost like, I can't do anything about
it. Elbow to the ribs.
That's right.
So he gets out of the police station. They end up at a pier in some small motorboat that Frank has, and he has like a small arsenal in there. We see. I made I got some other notes here. As Frank is in this small boat, we get a gratuitous shot of him taking his shirt off.
Yeah.
As I also made a note that third act music plays, like the music that's getting you ready for the big third act, like fight scenes is playing.
Yep.
This movie is very good at being an action movie.
Oh yeah, well it's like the last couple weeks. I mean, Bloodsport was a lot of fun, but it was still really goofy.
Yes, yeah, you beat me to the word. It was very goofy, and
it's like this really does feel slightly more realistic.
Yeah,
at least in terms of shady businesses.
Yeah, it plausibly could happen.
Yeah, but we don't have a Bolo Young in this film. It's just getting away with murder and people are cheering him for it.
There's an unfortunate lack of peck pops in this movie.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of extra shirts.
Too many shirts.
but yeah, this is a really fun, like, within its window action film.
Yes.
Because I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Statham is not Schwarzenegger. He's not Stallone. Like, those guys are like larger than life action heroes. This is just, I'm gonna go get, I'm gonna go, and it's like every fight he's in, he does seem plausible that, like, yeah, he could do that.
Mm-hmm.
He could pull that off.
Yeah, he's not just like walking up to people and like snapping necks. Like,
yeah, exactly. Except maybe the defeating 2 axes with a wall sconce.
It
was fun, but maybe a stretch.
Yeah. Well, it's still a movie.
Yeah, of course.
So he ends up at this big pier with like shipping containers. He's sneaking around with a stethoscope to listen to each of these things to try to listen for humans inside.
Glad he had that in his bag.
He's also a doctor too.
Yeah, right. It's like Frank Abagnale's on the case.
Frank takes out some guys. Eventually, Wall Street gets the drop on him, so Wall Street can throw down Oz.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. Like, I was hoping he could, just because you're building him up to be the big bad. I was like, he better be able to hold himself.
So there's another really cool fight sequence where he's kind of like lodged between a couple shipping containers, and the doors keep opening, and he's like like there's a door on one side of him, a door on the other, and he's walled in, and he keeps like kicking these doors like open or closed, so that he doesn't have guys coming at him from both sides.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it felt very video game.
Yeah, very inventive. Fight scene.
It really was cool.
He ends up getting away. He jumps onto a shipping container that's in transit.
It's in transport.
In transport. Sorry, my apologies. It's in transport. He ends up in a bus depot. Where the buses are kind of like the shipping containers. They're really close to each other. They're parked parallel to each other. There's like 3-4 feet between them. And of course more fight scenes here. He ends up in a parked bus and fights several guys. Another fun scene. One guy walks up from behind Frank and like pulls Frank's shirt off, and then Frank uses the shirt to tie 2 bad guys together.
Yeah, that was fun. Like, it really, like, I really enjoyed the fight choreography.
Yes, a lot of fun. At one point, he ends up surrounded by another dozen guys, and there's a big like oil drum there, or like grease drum.
Yeah,
he knocks it over, and of course he's shirtless at this point. So he's covered himself in like oil and grease, and the floor is coated in it as well. There's a bicycle there.
Yeah,
he knocks the pedals off of the bicycle.
So cool.
Yeah,
so stupid.
Yes,
cool.
Yeah, exactly. So he straps these bike pedals. They have like these kind of like jagged bottoms.
Yeah,
to his feet, while all the other dozen bad guys are just slipping around. So he's the only one with traction.
Yeah,
as he takes out all of these guys. Such a fun scene. Eventually, after this, finally, guys with guns come, because apparently only some bad guys are allowed to have guns.
There's 600 henchmen and only 3 guns.
Yeah, that's all we could afford.
Right.
We had to cut back.
We pay our henchmen too much to buy guns for everybody.
It's what happens when you unionize. We gotta pay living wage henchman salary.
Yeah, exactly.
So
benefits.
Yeah. So Frank ends up in the bay outside, he's holds up a guy's body, takes the bullet, but it knocks him into the water. So he's in the water with this now dead guy, and they're just pepper in the water with the bullets, and he's running out of air. So he pulls this dead guy's corpse up to him, and he puts his mouth onto the dead guy's and sucks the air out of the dead guy's lungs, which again just
it's like, okay,
yeah.
It's at this point where I want to backtrack on my comment about about this is probably more realistic.
Plausible. Well, there's some moments in this
that are very, very fantastic.
So what I got out of that is, if you end up in the water and you're running out of air, find the closest living creature, just put your mouth on it and just pull the air out.
Just siphon the oxygen out of their lungs.
Yep. It doesn't matter if it's a mammal or a fish.
Nope.
Reptile.
You'll have a hard time with a fish.
You put it right on its gills.
Suck them gills.
There's so many dumb quotes we could take from this.
Yeah.
Suck them gills.
Suck them gills.
Frank ends up stealing a small car. He's still after these trucks with the shipping containers. It's now daylight. The car stalls. He ends up in a crop duster. like there's like a farmer who's just doing his thing, and he pulls a gun on the farmer
and Frank sees him from 2 miles away.
Yeah.
And is takes off at a jet sprint.
He sprints through the woods and through the fields to catch up with this farmer.
Trying to catch this crop duster.
Yeah. So of course they fly above the convoy. He tells the pilot to call Tarconi. Then he parachutes out onto the shipping container on the semi, the moving shipping container.
Uh-huh.
Detaches the chute, which of course goes onto the windshields of one of the escort cars that's following. Again, just fun sequence.
It really is just fun.
Yeah. Takes out the driver, takes the wheel. Kwai, Wall Street, and Lai are in a car behind them, and in another like escort car. Frank uses broken pieces of glass from the side mirror to see what's coming.
Yeah.
And then he turns the mirror, and somehow Wall Street is now in the cab with him.
Teleported.
Yeah. Nightcrawler's there in the cab with him.
Right.
They fight. Wall Street hits the handbrake, which throws Frank through the oh god, it's hard to describe. There's physics involved in this fight. Frank is in front of Wall Street in the cab. Wall Street hits the brake, which forces Frank into him.
Yeah, because he knows the inertia is going to keep him.
There you go. And he plants a huge double leg kick into Frank's chest, which of course then throws him the other way. And he thinks that Frank just got projected out of the vehicle and run over.
Right.
Turns out, of course, Frank is now
underneath the truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in a move that's never been done before.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever caught the front of a semi and crawled underneath it.
Never happened in an action movie.
Nope.
From under the rig, of course, Kwai is in the car alongside, and he's shooting the machine gun at Frank, who's just stuck there under this truck. He grabs a tire iron and throws it while hanging onto the bottom of this truck through the window. The open window of this car, it hits the driver because
he's good.
He's good. He's got a nasty split finger fastball too.
He does.
Oh, just fun sequence. Frank gets on the top, dives forward, grabs a bar that's unnecessarily on top of the cab, and swings through. Boots Wall Street out of the driver's seat, then leg scissors him out of the doors, Hurricane Rana's him outside.
Right. 619 from the front.
Ultimo Dragons.
That's right.
Gave him a Frankensteiner.
Jushin Thunder Liger's back in this scene. They're all there.
Frank brings the rig to a stop, breathes a sigh of relief. Of course, then Kwai is right next to him with a gun on him because, again, he can teleport too.
It's in the car. It's got that extra feature.
So Kwai's got the gun on Frank. Frank's got his hands behind his head. Somehow he had grabbed a rock and he's holding it behind his head, a la Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
With the duct tape. Or the Christmas tape gun on his back.
Yeah.
He tells Kwai that Lai's never going to be like you, and then they hear Lai scream, and we hear a gunshot. So we think Lai's dead, and then a moment later we hear another gunshot, thinking Kwai just shot Frank, but no, it was Lai. She had shot the driver, and she just killed her father.
Killed her dad.
Yep.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Season's greetings. Give your family an extra hug this holiday season. Tarcotti shows up. I underestimated you, Frank. They open the shipping container. There's hundreds of traffic migrants and roll credits.
That's the end.
And that's it. What a bonkers end to this movie.
It really was. Like, Act 3 was everything Act 1 and 2 were not.
Yeah, it's 1 and 2 were plausible. Act 3, it just it amped up the scenes here. All right, well, hey folks, we're at that point in the show where Oz and I each give our own unique rating to the film in question, 2002's The Transporter. Hey Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'm going to give this one a 10W30.
10W30.
That's my rating.
Mm-hmm.
What are you giving it?
I'm going to go with 88 bicycle pedals.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Yeah, because whenever you need traction, folks, just break off a couple bicycle pedals.
You stomp hard enough, they come right off.
They come right off. Yep. That's how you do it. Next up, folks, we've got our next bit, Outside Insights. Oz and I have been scouring the interwebs, searching for unprofessional reviews that tickle our funny bone, and we hope they tickle yours as well. Oz, what is your outside insight for The Transporter?
My outside insight is from Jade Talks Too Much.
She does.
Hold on. Jade Talks Too Much, Christmas tree emoji, snowman emoji, something else.
Aw, season's greetings.
Left in October. Quote, "You don't need your mouth to pee," end quote, Frank Martin. This is such a trashy 2000s action flick, but I have so much fun watching it, cry emoji. Completely ridiculous, but still a fave of mine. The scene where he cuts a Lil hole, through the tape on her mouth so he could feed her juice is too darn funny, juice box emoji. He's such a romantic, heart says eyes emoji. Stath's character in this be a bit of a sociopath, but Shu Qi is still so lucky. Why won't he kidnap me? Cry emoji. He can tape my mouth shut anytime. Bite lip emoji.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, I should apologize for this review. Like, clenched teeth emoji. Please forgive me. Pray emoji. So very, very sorry in bold. Kinky jokes aside, Shu Qi is very lovable in this, and it's quite good fun if you like silly movies. Upside down smile face emoji. Five stars.
Are they actual stars?
No, well, they're the built-in letterbox review stars.
They're
not
emoji stars. Yeah. 5 emojis.
Right. So yeah, this including her name has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 emojis in this.
That's high. Paragraph. That's high praise right there.
That's
high in the emoji rating scale.
So thank you, Jade Talks Too Much Christmas tree emoji, snowman emoji. What do you got?
Mine, as always, comes from the Internet Movie Database. This is a 10 out of 10 review left in December of 2021, so about 2 years ago, from Didin Lasjin.
Nailed it.
Yep. Frank has worked as a delivery. He has been working very hard as a delivery. He always bite gangster's head off when he is working. He is pumped up with his jog. I love him a lot. He never gives up, even the delivery is difficult.
Native English speaker, yeah, I'm guessing.
I don't know if it's a non-native speaker or if someone's playing a bit or if someone's just, I don't know, but it's still, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Still tickled my funny bone.
It is funny. Delivery.
He has been working very hard as a delivery. First of all, he's a transporter, not a delivery.
That's right.
Get it right. He is the transporter, not a transporter.
That's right. Hey, before we hop into 3, 2, 1.
What is this, Oz?
Can I share a viewer email with you?
Viewer email?
Viewer email.
Is this a new bit?
It could be, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Just like you wouldn't call World War I until you had World War II. We'll just call this viewer email until we get a second one.
Sure.
Then we know we've got a bit going.
We'll dip it in the mailbag.
Right. So this is a viewer email from Francis. He says, "Hey, let's talk about Flicks team. I love what you guys are doing in the space. Your infectious sense of humor and movie knowledge make Let's Talk About Flicks a must-listen for any film lover looking for a great time.
Wow, my ego is inflated.
Yeah. We're working on an AI platform that repurposes content from your podcast. Oh, 50 cents a clip. I'd love to fill you in on the process.
Oh.
Yeah. Francis was off to a good start, and then I realized it's just a business proposition.
Oh.
He wants to work with us in his AI platform to repurpose content for the podcast episodes. They're engaging audiogram clips, perfect for YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, etc. I think it'd work well for you and your content. Yeah, all he wants is my phone number. So
I mean, you gave him my credit card number, right?
I told him it was my phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my phone number. It's 16 digits long, plus has an expiration date.
Exactly. Yeah. My cell phone number expires, but if you put this code in,
then you put in the other 3 numbers afterwards.
Yeah. So thank you, Francis, for your quick question email.
Loyal listener, Francis.
Yeah. Usually the only emails I get to the podcast email is it's just what's going on X, formerly known as Twitter. You guys can send us viewer email questions, though, if you'd like. You can drop them, of course, in the comments. But you could always email us at talkaboutflicks@gmail.com. So don't let Francis be the only one. You guys also can proposition us for your business.
If you want us to give you money, let's hear those emails, folks.
Hey, come on, hit us up. 50 cents. So, no, that was just fun. I saw that pop up, and I'm like, that'll be a fun little addition because it's garbage. So, all right. Hit it.
Smooth transition to our signature segment. That moment you've been waiting for, the 3, 2, 1, where Oz and I each share 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 about the film in question, The Transporter. Oz, what are your 3 goods?
My first good, and I mentioned it earlier, I really enjoyed the fight choreography in this.
Yes.
It was, so many action films are just punch, punch, kick, kick.
Yeah.
But this really took that of like Statham can hold his own, and so let's go ahead and ratchet it up, and it was just a lot of fun with the variety and like the shipping container fight and the bus fights, and there was just fun. Second good, there really is no fluff with this plot.
No, it just cooks.
Yeah, there could have been opportunities for some Frank backstory. You just left them out. Like there really was a lot of just momentum with the plot, taking it forward. And my third good, to be more specific, I adored that motor oil fight.
Yes.
It's just so much fun watching them slalom themselves around the garage floor there. It was just a lot of fun. So those are my 3 goods. What do you got?
That kind of captured most of my goods. So,
sorry.
No, it's great. I'm going to start with gratuitous shirtless hero shots. We had several of those in this movie.
Good.
Yep. So yeah, Marvel's made a business out of that.
Mm-hmm.
You work out incessantly for 6 months, for a shot that's about 4 seconds in a movie.
Yep.
But
then people just slobber over because, it's Chris Evans holding a helicopter.
Hey, I'll watch that any day of the week, man.
It's Chris Pratt coming out of a shower, apparently. Have you seen they're doing a Roadhouse remake with Jake Gyllenhaal, and apparently in the movie he's like a UFC fighter as well, like with a checkered past or whatever.
Of course he is.
Like he's super cut. Like I saw images yesterday. I was like, good Lord. Like you said, like the amount of work that these guys put in, that they look a certain way. And then of course, by the time we see them in their next movie, they're just flub again. It's like, oh man. Is it worth all the effort?
I think I like either reading or hearing an interview with Hugh Jackman and like how he prepares for those shirtless scenes, and like
I read that too.
It's like just protein, and then like he will not eat anything for like the 2 days prior to, and just would not consume anything.
Yeah, he's like dehydrates himself.
Yeah.
Just to get the veininess going.
Yeah. That's not healthy, folks. No. But it makes me hot under the collar, so
it's you, Jackman.
Yeah, you, Jackman. So yes, first one, gratuitous shirtless hero shots. For the second one, I'm gonna go with let's see, I like how they established his rules as a part of his character, because it went more than just his occupation. Because like even Tarconi noted, when he, early in the movie, when he and Frank were at Frank's home, and he's like, you're very organized, you're very well put together with your
just
home.
Tidy
yes. And this is a defined part of his character. So as a college and career counselor, it's nice to hear how someone, identifies their own strengths and applies that to an appropriate occupation. So that makes the college and career counselor in me happy. And for the last one, oh God, let's just go with Frank throwing that tire iron from underneath the rig.
Well-placed tire iron.
That was, again, he's hanging upside down under a semi, a semi in motion that apparently is driving at least the speed limit, if not above.
Right.
And there is a car next to him that is shooting at him with a machine gun, and yet, while suspending himself from this in motion semi, he's able to whip this probably several pound tire iron right through the car window and right into the driver's face. So kudos to that throwing arm there, Frank.
Well placed.
Hey, those are my 3 goods. What are your 2 bads for the Transporter?
I don't like it when car chase scenes have more cuts than driving.
Sure, I get that.
The opening scene here was a very fun establishing scene, but way more cuts than actual like driving sequences, and it just was like, come on, I want to see him drive. My second one, granted, the continuation of the movie became more and more bonkers, but I felt the turning point was Frank's elaborate underwater getaway setup. Like when his house had been blown up and they drop down to the basement and then they exit via this waterway because he's already has like underwater scuba equipment ready. And it's just like, to me, that at that point, granted, the rest of the movie became even more bonkers, but at that point it was like, why? Like it just, why are you ready for this?
In the event that my home is attacked by rockets.
Right. And just, for me, it was like, why would you be prepared for that?
I mean, I don't even live near water, but I keep a scuba set downstairs
in your basement.
just in case my home is attacked by rockets.
You never know. So those are my 2 bads. And again, they're easily forgiven because of how bonkers.
Again, it's an action movie.
But again, we're talking like the first scene of the movie where it's like, you're establishing that you're a great getaway driver, but I'm really not seeing you drive a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like cut.
That reminds me of I don't even know which movie it is, but there's a recent Liam Neeson movie that's kind of been getting some laughs. About it's and Liam Neeson, like I think he's in his 70s now, right?
Yeah, he's up there.
And like his character is like running up to an 8-foot tall chain link fence, and he climbs it. And, he crawls over and jumps over, and there's literally over 20 cuts within this like 5-second sequence of him jumping on this fence,
just climbing
up, going over and landing, and it's over 20 edits in this 5-second sequence.
Yeah, I just looked. He's 71.
Yeah. So good for you, Liam Neeson. It only takes you 20 cuts to scale a fence.
That's right. Cut. Get him a ladder.
So as far as let's see, my 2 bads. Let's see. I'm gonna go with the first one being early in the movie. He gets that flat tire that leads to him opening the trunk.
Right.
Well, he gets the flat tire and he gets out of the car and he looks at the tire and he says out loud, "Flat." Like, was it necessary for him to say that? Like,
well, at this point, we really only ever see him talk to himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It does establish him talking to himself, self-narrating.
But it made sense when Tom Hanks was stranded on an island to talk to himself nonstop. But like you're literally just changing a flat tire.
It's like, flat.
Hungry.
So that just caught me early on.
Yeah, that is silly.
And I could tell early on that I was going to be searching for bad. So it's like, that one works.
Yeah.
Flat. Oh.
Flat.
And let's go with my second bad. As Frank is walking during the breakout scene from the police station where Tarconi is helping Frank escape, there are cops who have their guns within a foot of Frank's head.
Yes.
And apparently they didn't shoot because they were worried about, of course, Frank harming Tarconi. But like, if you shoot someone point blank in the head, will they be able to react fast enough to also shoot their weapon?
Right. And how many men were going to shoot him point blank in the head?
Like it wasn't a big hallway they were in.
No, but they were like the entire French police force.
Yes, all of France was there. Baguette in one hand, pistol in another.
They were all ready too. Like they all happened to be standing outside of that jail cell door,
guns drawn,
prepared for when Frank came through with Tarconi. Yep.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They could have stopped him easily.
Right, yeah, easily.
But they didn't. So yeah, those are my two bads. Hey Oz, what's your
my is clearly Frank has a very dark gray area of morality.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he decide to open this particular package? Like that's my
Mm-hmm.
It's like we see him have no problem transporting bank robbers after watching one, almost instructing one to get killed. It's like he just takes these deals, and then this particular package he decides to open. I get to think that, like, is this the first human body you've transported? I just don't think that that's probably logical. But
yeah,
that's my is you get the vibe. He's built up a reputation of being a no nonsense, successful at this.
He follows his rules
at this quote unquote occupation, and then suddenly he decides, I better break the rules.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, because I have not seen this movie prior, and I haven't seen I think there's three of them.
I think there's three. Yeah,
the second or third one. I'm assuming then he continues breaking his rules in those films, or is it like a continuation, like a John Wick of? I don't know. I'd be curious to see if they're any good. But this one was fun though. But that's my
Maybe we could have a future monthly theme of Jason Statham sequels.
Yeah, we could.
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch Crank 2. I'm not watching the Meg 2 again though. I've seen it. It is bad.
Oh, I have not seen either Megs.
Well, it's coming up.
Either of the Megs, but yes. Spoiler alert. For future, let's talk about Flick's content.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's your
Oh God, there's so many to pick from. Like, how did Wall Street get from the car to the semi?
Same way I did.
How did Lie?
Ejector seat.
Yeah. Like, how did Lie get in the Mercedes if her hands were bound to the chair that she was tied to? Like,
oh yeah.
Again, as you said before, how did he have the scuba set and oxygen tank ready to go? Like, why do whatever bad guys approach good guys from behind, instead of like hitting them, they just grab their shoulders? Like,
well, they got a code. I will not hit you in the back. I want you to turn around and face me like a man.
So those are all possible ha's. The I'm gonna go with is during the rocket launch scene, the rocket house attack. How did Frank watch a rocket enter his house, then run across the room, jump in an elevator, and lower the elevator before the rocket exploded against the wall? So, like, is he faster than a rocket?
No, it's a big room. It's like, they didn't show the ballroom that he was in, but yeah, it's quite a large auditorium that he has in his home.
He uses a lot of light colors to make the room look bigger.
Yeah, right. It's very room. And the rocket didn't know where it was going.
No, and to stop and pull out a map.
Stop midway and starts looking around.
And a little arms comes up and scratches its head.
Those are all on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, it had to ask directions.
Right.
A little question mark symbol was above its head.
he tricked him by painting a wall.
Like Wile E. Coyote
Yeah,
style.
exactly. He painted an earlier wall that confused it.
Flew into the matte painting of a wall.
Got him. But you're right, though. Like, that was pretty impressive that he
outran a rocket.
He outran a rocket.
So yeah, that's my haunt. And that wraps up the Transporter. That wraps up, my friend, By the Numbers action movies, and that wraps up the year of 2023.
Yeah, it does.
What a year it's been.
It has. It went fast.
Yeah.
Like, it went real fast. We've had 2 complete years worth of content now.
Yes, we have.
Going into year 3.
And change.
Yeah. And new theme, obviously, to kick off the new year.
Mm-hmm.
What is our theme for next month?
Our theme for next month, as we teased at the end of last week's episode, this is one that's been in the hopper for a while, and I know it's one you are super excited about.
I really am.
We're going to kick off January 2024 with rhyming titles.
Yes. Yes, we are.
And it's a 5-weeker, so we got 5 weeks worth of rhyming titles. And these movies are incredibly different from each other.
Oh, very, very diverse.
Wide variety of genres, and yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, the stipulation is that there just has to be a set of rhyming words in said title.
Yes.
And so we're going to kick off the month with a movie where the title doesn't actually rhyme.
Well, you wanted to do this movie, and as we do for most of our months, we start with the movie, and then we manufacture the theme around the movie. So what do we got, Oz?
We are going to kick off the year and the new month with a 1988 film, Carl Weathers' Action Jackson.
Yes. Action Jackson.
Action Jackson.
I've only seen
Jackson.
I've only seen bits of this movie.
I've not seen any of it. Carl Weathers, Craig T. Nelson, Vanity.
I forgot Craig T. Nelson was in this. Is he the bad
guy? He might. Yes,
I hope so.
Vanity, Sharon Stone, Bill Duke.
Could be an early Sharon Stone.
Robert Davi.
Oh, Robert Davi? Oh, I love me some Robert Davi.
Thomas F. Wilson.
Is that Biff?
I think that's Biff.
Yeah.
That's all the names I recognize. Sonny Landham's in this
Really?
movie.
So we got 3 of the main cast members from Predator.
Yep. We got it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Music by Herbie Hancock. Joel Silver produced.
It's Herbie Hancock.
And it's directed by a former stuntman, so you know it's coming from a guy with a vision.
And it's got a 5.5 on IMDb.
Hey, exactly where it deserves to be.
Oh, and at the top of the poster, a very busy poster.
Yes.
It's time for action with the word action in quotations.
It's in quotes.
So is there actually going to be action, or is there just action?
Who knows? Vanity's got her hands on his hips, so who knows? But yeah, Carl Williams plays Detective Sergeant Jericho Jackson, known locally as Action Jackson.
Mary Ellen Trainor's in this too.
Oh yeah, I skipped by that, didn't I? Yep, there she is, Mary Ellen Trainor. Couldn't be a late 80s, early 90s
without Mary Ellen Trainor
cop movie without Mary Ellen Trainor. But yeah, this will be a lot of fun. This has been on the radar for pretty much since the beginning.
Yeah, you've wanted to do this movie.
I've never seen it, but I'm very excited for it. Just because I think it's going to be awful, but
a lot of fun
in all the best ways. Yeah, all the best ways. So I don't see Vanity bringing anything to the project. I see her more getting in the way, as she was nominated for a Razzie for this movie. So yay! But yeah, we're kicking off Rhyming Titles Month and 2024 with Action Jackson. Like you mentioned, 5-weeker, and we're all over the place. There's a really good chance that this movie is the worst movie of the month.
As far as quality, yes.
Yes, yeah. And that doesn't mean it won't be enjoyable. But
we got second week, we got kind of a kooky,
it's fun.
Kind of indie-ish movie.
Yeah.
We got a couple of comedies, and then we've got kind of an action epic
Yes,
at the
very
end.
much so. Very much so. So, social media wise, you guys can find us Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. There is a Patreon link down below if you'd like to join the list of people that get their names shouted. I know that. Donis!
Ernie!
Mandy K and Patreon subscriber Melissa.
Patreon subscriber Melissa L.
So, but yeah, we've got a great lineup coming up for you guys in 2024. We have pretty much the entire year mapped out already. I see, 5 blanks?
I'm actually filling in one right now.
Filling in one right now?
Yep, for Patreon Members Choice Month.
Okay, I see it there.
That's going to be an interesting one to cover.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun. A movie I haven't seen. Just at a quick glance, there's a lot of movies in this next year that I have not seen.
It's some fun themes. Really fun themes.
Yeah. And we're looking forward to that for sure. So that wraps up another episode and the year for Let's Talk About Flicks. We will be back next week to kick off 2024 with Action Jackson. And I don't know, you got anything you want to send us out with?
Happy holidays, folks.
Yeah, happy New Year to all of you.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
So let's talk about flicks. I'm Oz.
I'm Curtis.
And we'll see you guys in 2024.